Today we're making art from the archetype the Fool. So Carolyn May says the light attributes fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, and in the shadow, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. So I know that the Fool really exudes playfulness and exuberance, and so I chose a red background, and what I did was just collected a handful from some scrap and decided that I would simply go ahead and use only what I picked out, knowing that the Fool is going to allow for this surprise and it will pick up on the opportunities. And I also decided that I was going to only tear fabric and see what happens. So I'm just ironing a couple pieces. The Fool doesn't take it herself too seriously. And the Fool has an important part in the world because the Fool brings lightheartedness. In that big bin of scrap fabric, I saw this color, and I definitely wanted to add color. Because the Fool was very important in the king's court, I think of some of those royal colors. This pink that is already, it kind of has a torn look to it. Trying to get some of this stuff out of the way that I won't be using. Well, talk about royal, that's a beauty. What happens if it doesn't tear very easily when I'm on the diagonal. Okay, I love this. Love, 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 love that. Gonna see where that's, I'm gonna leave that intact for now. I got some really cool green. Oh yeah, I'm gonna iron that. And I had also decided that I would do a piece that was square because the Fool is not square in any means. Actually, the Fool helps to defy authority. It helps to eradicate hierarchy. In the court, the Fool was instrumental in voicing what others would not say. Oh my gosh, those are gorgeous. Oh my, love it. All right, I gotta kind of stop while the stopping is good. The Fool also has a sense of wisdom to it. The Fool can laugh at herself. She embraces her imperfections. I imagine that the Fool is one who can easily not get attached to expectations. The Fool can be seen as standing on the ledge, like between worlds, possible danger. The Fool is certainly known for entertainment. That's because the Fool is related to clown, and so the clown is, of course, seen in a lot of circuses, so are the elephants. One of the differences between the clown and the Fool is that the clown wears a mask and the Fool has no problem showing himself. The Fool remains unpartisan though, doesn't really subscribe to any particular order or thought. It was also believed that having a Fool on the premises warded off the evil eye. Fool's known to be bold and blatant. You probably can resonate with the hat that the Fool wears, very colorful and spiky, and the reason for that is because the Fool imitated the queen's and the king's crown and scepter. So that cap had bells and a bauble. The Fool has a scepter, and the Fool can say that which others do not dare to voice. So the Fool was essentially free from punishment that others might be subjected to were they to voice the same concern. The Fool is willing to just follow the dots and see where it lands. The Fool brings aliveness and vibrancy, that bright side that the world so desperately needs. Now, along the same family might be trickster, playing practical jokes, adding that element of surprise. Also along that same vein is Joker, making people laugh. And that Joker does not care how other people judge her. And she also doesn't judge other people. That's pretty significant, isn't it? The Fool can turn a hardship into a bright spot, kind of milking the lesson from a hardship. I love with the Fool, it's kind of what you see is what you get. That's exactly right. And although the Fool can be seen as a bumbling idiot, the Fool really has it together. More than meets the eye. Here's a quote about how the Fool can be wise. And this is from Shakespeare, from As You Like It. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. So in the shadow, the Fool can betray or demonstrates bad taste and can make fun at the expense of other people. And in the shadow, the Fool can act foolishness to either simply be accepted into the fold, or it can act foolish to avoid a situation. Fool in the shadow can act naive and avoid responsibility. And as we talked about that edge that the Fool can stand on, kind of that precipice of teetering on good taste, bad taste, foolishness versus truth. In the shadow, the Fool can fall off that edge and also can act foolish simply to avoid its own feeling. But keep in mind that the Fool is a timeless archetype and reminds us again of the need to play and be fun-loving, taking sheer pleasure in the process of making art, not having the attachments. She remains non-committal to the process, and by so being, she opens up to the possibilities of what's next. And to me, I think this is done. Now, she might also, in art, portray messages of activism, like for the planet or for the needs of humans, and voicing those subjects that other people have trouble doing so or even hearing, and she can do it camouflaged in humor, no less. And remembering that the Fool can be wise, providing valuable insights well beyond that bumbling facade.